What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Stellar Lumens today, XLM USD. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, my friends. It is the 10th day of November, and here we are sitting at about 30.6 cents with 9 hours and 50 minutes left in the day. We're up about 7% on the day. That's nice to see so far. Looking like you are, in fact, breaking out of this lower end of consolidation here. I mean, you really are in this kind of descending channel, and I think we're even breaking out of that as well today. We should be seeing prices approach 33 to 34 cents here pretty soon. Ultimately, once we get above this level here, when we get above this area where we found support at for such a long time, a little bit of resistance back here at 35 and a half cents there, 35 cents, whatever you want to call it, 35, 36 cents. When we get above there, that effectively, I think, will be the point at which we are breaking out of this overall downtrend, and in which we can expect to see a move that will take us all the way up to new all-time highs. Absolutely. So something to look forward to in the future is getting above 35, 36 cents. Let's just round up. Let's say 36 cents. Okay, getting above there will be something to be excited about. Here we are right now, about 5.5 cents away from that level. Let's look at the short-term stuff. We'll see what we can come up with, and then we'll zoom out again. Okay, looking at the 1 hour time frame here, we've got a very bullish RSI, very bullish stochastics, and the MACD is bullish as well. No signs of wanting to stop here, though you could correct a little bit. If you wanted to, you could pull back down to about 29.5 cents, drop about 1 cent from here, and then pump. That's not a big deal, but as long as you're just moving sideways and consolidating here, I think that the statistical probability that you will break out to the upside is definitely there. If we're looking at this on the 4 hour time frame, let's zoom out a little bit more. I want to look at this. Should I take this high to low? I don't know if I should. Let's take this high to low. Golden ratio resistance. Yeah, we could pull back 30 cents, 29 cents, something like that, and then continue to rally. But I do think that we continue to rally. I don't think that we stop here. I want to look at something with some volume on it. Looking at Coinbase here. A lot of volume coming in. Not a whole lot on the downside. We still have 1 hour and 48 minutes left in this 4 hour candle. I wouldn't be surprised at all. If we did go down to 29.5 cents, 30 cents, we'd probably hold support there and then continue to rally. Looking at the 4 hour indicators, the RSI is in the overbought zone. Overall, we do have this kind of ascending structure with higher lows here and higher highs here, right? We could come down a little bit, but again, we should be seeing some further movements. I would think that whether we consolidate here and we consistently get into these overbought readings, or we drop first and then we get overbought, whatever the case may be, I do expect that we will see some continued growth, at least from these areas here to the upside. Right. The MACD has crossed above the zero. Typically, whenever you cross the zero, you do expect to see some consolidation. So if we consolidate here for like a day or two, that's fine. But we absolutely will continue to grow. I very much do think that we've got higher prices to go. Crossing above the zero is a good thing. Stochastics overbought, the RSI being overbought, all good things here. Looking at the daily time frame, the stochastics are postured in the right way. This suggests that we have days, if not weeks, worth of growth ahead of us. The MACD, while it's not the most bullish, you do have bullish divergence, which is good as well. I think that's where we're seeing this move come to fruition, is from the bullish divergence here, and then the RSI as well. Looks like you want to break out of this downtrend that you have. More or less, you've been in this kind of range here with lower highs and lower lows. You can see there it's pretty parallel. Sometimes you have blemishes to the upside, right? But this is looking like a breakout here. I do think that we're going to continue moving higher. And with that all being said, weekly time frame here, I feel like every other sentence I was saying, I feel like we will move higher. This should continue moving higher. From a high to a low, we went all the way up to our 786, all the way back down to the 236. It's a very common procedure to do, actually. Very volatile, but very common. I should let me restate that. This is not a common procedure in itself. But if you rip all the way up to the 786, pulling back to the 236 itself is common. Oftentimes, whenever you break through the golden ratio like this, you do get some very extreme volatility, right? Typically, you find resistance the first time you hit the golden ratio, you come back, and then you break. So whenever you get that little added oomph, it gives you a little added oomph to the downside as well. Looking at this from a high to a low, once we get above about 41 cents here, once we get above that golden ratio zone on a weekly closing basis, I think at that point it's inevitable that we will see new all-time highs. It's undeniable, indisputable that the low is in once we close above 41 cents on a weekly time frame. If we're looking at this on a monthly time frame and going all the way out to our prior cycle highs, not last cycle but the cycle before, from a cycle high to a cycle low, We look at our next target area to consider. $2.46 is where it's at, right there, right? Here we are consolidating very helpfully, right above the golden ratio, consolidating right here from the 886 down to the golden ratio. And again, look at this, right? Here, we just ripped all the way through the golden ratio on the first attempt. So what did we do? We pulled all the way back down near the 236. Very common, actually very common behavior. Whenever you get this uncommon thing, it's common to happen afterwards. Golden ratio support here. There's no doubt in my mind that we're going to go to 246. No doubt in my mind that inevitably 846 will be on the table. And I ultimately do think that Stellar Lumens will top off somewhere either at around $10, if not potentially as high as like $20, $30, somewhere around there by the end of the cycle. That's the expectation. But from here, going into the end of this year, I do fully expect that we will see XLM at new all-time highs. Anywhere from $1.50 to $2.50 would be my thoughts by the end of this year, if not by the end of January. We'll probably be above $1.50 by the end of the year. $2.50 might come in by January, but we'll see. And then as we consolidate and progress through the cycle, April, May comes along, $8.46 to $30, somewhere in that range. I'd really think like $10 to $30 is where we'll be by the end of the cycle. But I don't have anything else that I want to say. I think I've said everything I need to say. If you guys like the video, hit the like button. Thank you all for being here. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. As far as the monthly and the weekly time frames go, everything looks good. MACD is reset, ready to bounce. Same with the stochastics and the RSIs at the same area that we've bounced from really a plethora of times throughout this whole cycle. So all good things, all reset, ready to go. Take it easy. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.